Right, hello everyone, and welcome to Warren's Team Talk. I hope you're all okay, and this is the latest of my many streams today to celebrate today's FA Cup final, the FA Cup final for 2022, which is being contested by Liverpool and Chelsea. What I'm going to do with you now is to talk to you about my memories of FA Cup final day, and because the FA Cup has got a very special place in my heart. It's probably because I'm an old miserable git, but there you go. So before we get started, please can I ask you to put a like on the video, please subscribe to my channel, and please try and spread the video around with as many different people as you can. That would be absolutely great. If you don't want to do that, and you don't want to subscribe, and you don't want to put a like, that's absolutely fine. It's not a problem. Anyway, so before we get started, I just want to thank everyone for their support today, and also thank you for your patience, because I have to say this has been a bit of a nightmare for me, really. I had all these different streams worked out about what I was going to do, and a lot of them have gone tits up. So I just want to apologise to everyone for that. And I'm really sorry if I've messed things around for you. But it couldn't be helped. It was completely out of my control. But yeah. So anyway, enough of all that. Let's get into the show. Let's put this on. So here we go. So here we go. So we're going to talk about my memories of Cup Final Day. So my first FA Cup memory was the 1976 FA Cup final, and that was between Southampton and Manchester United. Southampton won the game by 1-0, and it was a major shock, because obviously, you know, you've got all the history of Man United and all that carry on, and they're a big side like they are today, and they always have been. And Southampton, I think they were in the second division, or they were getting promoted that season, and they won the game by 1-0, and there's a really good goal as well, if I remember correctly. And actually, that is a photograph there, and of the winning goal. So yeah, it was a great day, and I remember sitting transfixed in front of the TV with it. And FA Cup final in my house was always a really big thing, right? And back in the day, the coverage would start 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and it would go on until well after the game had finished. The coverage would be on till probably about 6 o'clock in the evening. The game would kick off at 3, and you know, you'd have throughout the day, you'd have all these people being interviewed. You'd have things like FA Cup Mastermind, similar like a quiz, really, like I just did with Kenny and Jez. And big up to those two guys as well for coming on and doing the quiz for me. I'm so grateful for that, because I have to be honest, I was starting to feel really down, because I just thought it was something to do with me. I was beginning to think, maybe it's me. Maybe people were pissed off with me or something like that. But anyway, big up to Kenny and Jez. Thank you to them for coming on. It was a great quiz, and go and check it out. And poor Kenny had a bit of trouble getting on. So Jez and I had a good chat before Kenny appeared about the FA Cup, and it was great. Listening to Jez's stories and all the rest of it, and yeah, it was great. I really, really enjoyed it, and it certainly lifted my spirits. So, yeah, but like I say, back in the day, it was an all-day thing, and you'd have players' wives being interviewed. They'd be getting on the coaches of teams coming from their hotels to go to the cup final at Wembley Stadium in London. And, the TV crews would be on the coach interviewing the players, seeing how they were feeling and as they were travelling in the game. And even one year, I remember that one team, Brighton and Hove Albion, they even travelled to Wembley Stadium in a helicopter. I mean, how mad is that? So they went to the game in a helicopter. It was crazy. So, and they even had people on the helicopter interviewing the players and whatnot. Like I said, they'd have a FA Cup quiz. So years ago, back in the day, there used to be this thing on TV called Mastermind, and it was a two-stage quiz, I guess, best way to describe it. First of all, first part of the quiz was the person would have a specialised subject they could be asked questions about, and then they get asked general knowledge questions. All right, and on Cup Final day, they used to have a special Cup Final version of that. So that's what I decided to do today with Kenny and Jez. Then we used to have, like I say, players' wives being interviewed, the players being interviewed about the game, the coaches being interviewed, the cats and the dogs being interviewed. Actually, one guy, I think it was Bob Wilson, actually tried to interview a player's dog once, which was quite funny. So yeah, it was great, and celebrities would be interviewed, comedians. We'd be doing impersonations of the two managers and personalities surrounding the match. So, for example, you'd have them there'd be one doing, like Conor Moore would be doing an impersonation of Thomas Tuchel, and another one would be doing an impersonation of Jurgen Klopp, sort of thing, something like that. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. It was good fun. And then they would have loads of analysis before the game in the studio and whatnot. They'd go through, they do a summary of what had happened in each round of the cup that season, looking at the big dramatic moments. So, for example, this season, they'd have highlights of, couple of minute highlights of the game where West Ham were faced non-league opposition and so on and so forth. They go through each round, giving you a summary of what had happened and whatnot. And it was great. I have to say, I used to love it. And what we'd find, I don't know about other people, but where I lived, the streets would be empty. Everyone would be indoors watching it. And, you'd have sandwiches sitting on the table. There'd be drink. It was great, And so I'm going to just talk to you about some of my memories now of the Cup Final. We've had a look at what my first memory was. It was the 1976 FA Cup Final. And then my favourite FA Cup Final was the 1979 FA Cup Final, and that was the final between Arsenal and Manchester United. And And Arsenal won this game by 3-0. And Arsenal went 2-0 up thanks to goals from Brian Talbot in the 12th minute and then Frank Stapleton in the 43rd minute. And Arsenal at that stage were absolutely cruising. But 2-0 up at half time and they were cruising. They were absolutely on top. The United weren't really in it at all. And I remember there was always a big debate about who'd scored the first goal, whether it was Brian Talbot or whether it was David Bryce, because what happened was an Arsenal player broke down the right-hand side, the left side of Manchester United's defence. They cut the ball back from the byline, and the ball sort of arrived around about the penalty spot area, and Talbot and David Price arrived together, and one of them got a touch on them. Both of them claimed that they'd scored the goal, and a lot of records now claim it was Brian Talbot had scored it. And to be honest, I don't really care who got it. All I was worried about is that it went in the back of the net. And Brian Talbot, David Price, I couldn't care less really who'd scored it as long as we were in front. By half time, we were 2-0 up and we're absolutely cruising. And it continued in this vein for most of the second half until suddenly, in the 86th minute, Manchester United scored through Gordon McQueen. It went 2-1. 2 minutes later, they were level. Sammy McIlroy scored another one for United. So it was 2-2, and I was starting to worry because Arsenal was starting to look jaded and tired, and you were thinking, please don't lose it. You need to remember that this was the first time I'd ever seen Arsenal win a cup, or I'd never seen them win a league title. I'd never seen them win any silverware of any description. And there we were 4 minutes away from winning a trophy. And now we were clinging on by our fingertips. Then basically what happened, I remember the commentator said, when McIlroy got the equaliser, he said, and everything people say about Manchester United has descended on Wembley and turned this game round in the twinkling of an eye. It was quite an accurate description because United weren't really in it. They weren't. And Arsenal just sort of sat on the lead and didn't really push home their advantage because they could have, if they'd wanted to, I think they could have scored more, but they didn't. They sat back. Well, not sat back, but they didn't really push home the advantage they had because they were well on top. And then 1 minute after United equalised, Arsenal went forward again. The ball got played right across the United penalty area, and Alan Sunderland swept in at the far post to score the winner. He went running down the pitch, going absolutely crazy, and Arsenal won the game by 3-2. And the first time I ever see Arsenal win a trophy, and I'm telling you, I was absolutely delighted. Absolutely delighted. I remember I used to have this EP, and it was called Arsenal, the Red Machine, I think it was called. It's 12-inch vinyl, and it got played again and again and again. It was crazy. The poor bloody neighbours, God knows what they thought. So, yeah, that was my best ever FA Cup final memory. I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it because like I say, it was the first time I'd ever seen Arsenal win a trophy. And yeah, and I'd been following the club at that stage for 7 years. First started watching them in 1972, and I was about 5. And yeah, so it was great. It really was. So the next one, this is a picture of the open top bus tour in 1979. And I know it's a bit blurry, but it's because I've taken this off a YouTube video from the open top bus tour in 1979. And it's a bit grainy, but that's because of the quality of the video was recorded in. Because back then they didn't have HD cameras and all that sort of carry on. But yeah, you can see people on the top of a bus there, and that's the players. And they did a tour of the area around the ground in North London, in Islington. They ended up at Islington Town Hall and displayed the trophy, and the streets were absolutely lined with people. It was superb. What a day, what a final. So the next one I want to tell you about is the worst final for me. 2001 FA Cup final. Arsenal lost by 2-1 at Liverpool. And another game that got decided right in the dying moments of the game. Freddie Ljungberg put Arsenal 1-0 up in the 72nd minute. And to this day, I still don't know how Arsenal lost this game. Because no word of an exaggeration, Arsenal absolutely battered Liverpool. Battered them. All game. Like Liverpool weren't in it. There was shot after shot after shot. There were claims of a penalty should have been awarded because a Liverpool defender looked like he'd sort of handled the ball on the line. It never got given. But even given that, Arsenal should have won the game comfortably. They were well on top. And they, like I say, they absolutely battered Liverpool. But we just couldn't finish. And, you know, as the old adage says, if you don't put the ball in the net, you're asking for trouble. And that's what happened. Michael Owen equalised in the 83rd minute. And then 5 minutes later, he got another one. And Liverpool won the game by 2-1. So they took their chances and we didn't. So that was that. Liverpool won the cup final. So, and now I'm not sure, but I think it was the first time that Arsenal ever lost. The only cup final, I think, that Arsenal lost under Arsene Wenger's reign. So yeah, awful. Absolutely horrendous. And I remember Thierry Henry talking about this final, and he gets quite angry about it. And he says, he quite rightly said that Arsenal should have won this game 10-0. And it could have been. No word of a lie, it could have been 10-0. No word of a lie. And it wouldn't have been an unjust scoreline, in my opinion. And he said that he always had after that, he didn't like playing Liverpool. Not that he didn't like playing them, but he always gave an extra special effort because of what had happened in this cup final. And we've got James Dunlop in the chat. He says, hold on, where's my mouse? Here it is. He says, hi, Warren, I hope you're well, mate. Yeah, I am, James. Thanks ever so much for tuning in. Just want to apologise to you for all the chaos that has been around my channel today. I had loads of streams booked in, and for one reason or another, I had to cancel them. And reschedule it. It's just been an absolute nightmare, mate. I'm not sure if I was to do something like this again, I would do it the same way because it's too risky and too not risky, but it's too open to going wrong. But yeah, I just anyone who's been disappointed or upset by what's happened, sorry guys. I thought I was trying to do something different, but didn't really work that well. But I guess that's what you try. That's what happens sometimes when you try things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. And today it didn't work, so never mind. But such is life. Anyway, so yeah, that was my worst experience. My best experience, like I said, was the '79 Cup final, and my first one was the 1976 final. Then Manchester United lost by 1-0 to Southampton. So, James has come in with another chat and saying, "It's fine, Warren. I've been busy this morning, haven't had time to catch the streams earlier today. As the 2001 final, I remember watching it as when I was little, and you guys should have won it." Yeah, we should have done. We absolutely should have done because we absolutely battered them. And I'm sure as an Evertonian, you were cheering us on, mate. But yeah, we did our best, but it just weren't good enough. We just didn't finish. Couldn't finish our dinner, as they say. So yeah, there you go. Liverpool won by 2-1, as they say, and the rest is history. So James says, I've had one experience of an FA Cup final. It was in 2009 against Chelsea, and we lost 2-1. We scored the fastest goal in an FA Cup final in 26 seconds through Louis Saha. Yeah, was you at the game, James? I think I remember it. I'm not sure because I don't know, man. I think I'm just getting old because my memory's not what it used to be. I used to be able to tell you who had won their FA Cup every single year, who they played, what the score was, but not now. I can't. There's a period after which that I can't do it. I think probably from about 83 onwards, I can't do it from 70 up to 83, possibly. But after that, I just can't remember. James says, I was there, Warren. I was confident we were going to win, but Chelsea were too strong on the day. Yeah, but they were relentless at that stage, weren't they? I mean, they're not relentless now, but yeah, sad day really for you guys. Because it's horrible seeing your side losing a cup final. I've been there. It's happened to me. I saw us lose to West Ham in the 1980 cup final, and I was devastated, absolutely devastated. So yeah, guys. So that's my memories of the FA Cup. So what do I think? Let's have a chat about this. What is it that makes it the FA Cup so special for me? And it's just because of all the hullabaloo that used to be around the FA Cup. Back in the day, it was the only game, one of the only few times in the season where you'd get to see a match live on TV. Because there was no live games on TV. The only live games there would be at the end of the season when we'd have the British Home International Championship, which was an international tournament between all the home countries, so England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And then sometimes I think the European Cup final, or the Cup Winners' Cup final, or the UEFA Cup final would be screened live. But other than that, that was about it, really. Sometimes, if they were important, big international games would be shown live. But other than that, that was it. And so it was a big, big thing to see the cup final. And then, there was all the coverage at the start, as I was saying earlier, like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and go through all for the day. The fact that it was at Wembley, because it was a big thing for club sides to go to Wembley. There was only 2 games that you could play for your club side in the cup final. It was the FA Cup final and the League Cup final, and that was it. There were no playoffs. There was no other games that were played there except for the England internationals. So, yeah, it was a big deal. Big, big deal. And also the chance to see your team winning silverware as well. And, yeah, it was great. I used to love it. So the question is, the FA Cup, I think, has lost some of its pizzazz, some of its magic. So what can be done to bring that back? Now, for me, personally, I think that the 4th qualifying spot for the Champions League should be given to the winners of the FA Cup. And I think that would help. I also think this business like we got this year of playing it before the season's finished is wrong. It devalues the FA Cup a little bit. Well, a lot, actually. I think it should be played. No other game should be played on the day that the game is played. And it should be after the league campaign has finished. I think the semi-finals should be taken away from Wembley and played around the country, unless there's good reasons for them to be played at Wembley. Like, say, for example, if Arsenal are playing Tottenham in the final, then in exceptional circumstances it should be played at Wembley. But even then, I mean, if it's an Arsenal Spurs game, well, why couldn't they play it at Stamford Bridge? Because back in the day, the semi-finals weren't played at Wembley. And then, we had the Liverpool-Manchester City game recently played at Wembley, and there was all that transport chaos. So why didn't they play it at Old Trafford? Sorry, but it's crazy. Do you know what I mean? And no, I'm sorry. There's a lot they could do to make the FA Cup final special. And those things I've just mentioned are just some of them. And James has come in with some more chats. He's saying tomorrow's game against Brentford feels like a cup final to me. If we win and Leeds drop points against Brighton, we'll be officially safe. There you go. See? So, league survival, that's another thing. Maybe they could look into that if they don't want to give the FA Cup winner a slot in the Champions League. Maybe if a team from outside the Premier League wins the FA Cup, maybe they win their place in the Premier League as a consequence. It gives them promotion. But then there's all the wranglings you'd have about the team that they knocked out. And I just think the 4th qualifying spot for the Champions League would be the best bet. James says, first thing to do is to move the semi-finals back to Villa Park, Old Trafford, and other grounds rather than Wembley. Absolutely, mate. I completely agree with you, because the trouble is there's too many games for players to play at Wembley and fans to go to Wembley. It's devaluing the specialness of the cup final. And James said it's called the road to Wembley for a reason. Exactly, mate. 100%. You won't get an argument with me over that, I can tell you. So yeah, I mean that's my thoughts about it. I just think sadly it's not what it was years ago. I wish it was, but sadly it isn't. And you know, and I think a lot of fans these days, they don't really place a lot of importance on it either. And I think if it had qualification for the Champions League as a prize for winning it, I think you'd see a different attitude. I really do. Because qualification for the Champions League seems to be such a major incentive these days for fans, for clubs, that I just think it would help. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. Please, if you're watching this on playback, put in the comments in the comment section of the video. Tell me what you think about my ideas, about how to get the FA Cup back up to what its standing it used to have. Tell me about your experiences of FA Cup final day. Tell me about your first memory of the FA Cup. Tell me about your favourite cup final and why. And tell me about your worst memory of the FA Cup final and why. All those things. I'd be absolutely delighted to hear about it. I really would. And James says, your thoughts on the finals today? I think Liverpool will edge it. Chelsea will make it a lot tighter than Man City did do. Mate, I 100% agree. I think Liverpool will just edge it. I think it might go to, I think it's possible it could go to extra time and or penalties. I don't think it will. I think Liverpool will win 2-1. I think it could go to extra time though. But I think whatever happens, I think Liverpool will win it. But I can't see Chelsea win it. I just think Liverpool will have too much for them. I don't think Chelsea have got enough firepower up front. I think they need a world-class clinical striker, because I don't think Lukaku is clinical enough. And I think Timo Werner has been a bit of a disappointment for them. So yeah, I think Liverpool will win it. So yeah, that's my thoughts. James, thanks ever so much for coming into the chat. It's been great chatting to you, man. Have a great rest of your day, and please, everyone, put your comments. And if you're watching on playback, please put in the comment section what you think about today's game, as well as all the other things that I've just said about, best memories, worst memories, first memories, all those things. What you think about what can be done to make it special again. That'd be absolutely fantastic. James says, cheers, Warren. See you soon, mate. You too, buddy. I'm going to be doing more streams. I'm doing a watch along later as well. Please make sure you come and check that out. I'm going to do Chelsea's road to the final in a little while. I'm going to have Del Boy Gunner on hopefully as well to talk about his memories of the FA Cup. So there's still more to come. I hope you have a great rest of your day, whatever you're doing. Enjoy the match. And I'm having a phone in as well after the cup final. So if you want to come on, you don't have to have your camera on or anything like that. Come on, have your say about the match, what you thought about it, stuff like that. Be absolutely delighted to hear all your opinions and whatnot. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. Please don't forget to put a like on the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please share the video around with as many different people as you possibly can. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. All the best. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Cheers.